Hey, what is up, everybody? Michael Crump back here again, talking about the latest and the greatest in PlayStation homebrew news and much, much more. Well, I thought with the recent release of Itemzflow 1.07 paired with the new ETA hen, now would be a great time to make a new video showing you how you can back up your own PlayStation 5 Game Disc, such as this one right here, which is Sackboy. Now, before we get into it, very first thing that I did want to let you know was that not all PlayStation 5 games are able to be dumped properly. Now, it's a bit of a hit and a miss, but if your game is compatible and you follow this guide, then it will surely work. So to begin with here, you can see I have Sackboy already installed on my local hard disk drive, and I am using the disk version of it. Now at this point, you will need to go ahead and get jailbroken if you aren't already. I'm just using Itemzflow's site here, and I'm going to load ETA hen. Now you would need to install Itemzflow, and at least for this guide, go ahead and make sure you are running 1.07 or greater. Go ahead and launch it. And now if you cycle through your games, you should see the one that has the disc inserted. And again, my example right here is Sackboy. So I'm going to go ahead and press X right here. So now would be a great time to go ahead and attach an external USB drive to your PlayStation 5. And also make sure that it at least has a capacity that would be able to hold some of these larger games. So, we're talking about at least 50 gigabytes and up. And once you do that, you can go over here to where it says dump and then press the X button to interact. And you can select between dumping everything to just the base game, for the patch, and then even DLC. Now, for this example, I'm only going to dump the base game, but you could go ahead and set yours to dump everything. I'm going to go ahead now and I'm going to press X, and what will happen will be the game will launch here. What you'll see next is this dialog box, and it says file sampling. It says file sampling is a feature designed to check if the game files are installed and can be read from the disk before trying to transfer them. This is to prevent errors during the transfer process. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and enable that and press X. Again, this is something that was coming from Itemzflow. And now it's going to go ahead and dump my entire game. As you can see right here, it's setting at 53.0 gigabytes. So I'm going to go ahead and let this finish dumping, and then I'll come back to the video once it's complete. Okay, so it says that it has been successfully dumped, and it says that it was 53 gigabytes, and it took right around 24.48 minutes. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's press exit here. So now at this point, we have a game that has been dumped to our USB drive. Now what we need to do is we need to decrypt some of the executables that is on that game. So the best way to get the decrypted executables is to go ahead and just begin by launching whatever the game is that you're trying to dump. And then we're going to go back home. And now we're going to go ahead and we're going to begin our jailbreak again. We'll use Itemzflow. Okay, so make a note of the IP address right up there at the top. And let's switch over to the PC. Back over on the PC, you will need an application called Netcat GUI. Put a link to where you can download that below in the description. Your PS5's IP address. The port will be 9020, and then you will need to be using slayersdumper.bin, and then you will need to have Socat downloaded on your computer. And then you'll need to run a command that is very similar to this right here, except for where this is pointing to my PS5's IP address, you would put yours in right there. And do keep in mind when you run this in just a moment, you will need to be pretty quick to come back over here and press the inject payload. So I'm going to press return right here and then the inject payload. And as you can see right here, it is now dumping those decrypted executable files. And then while it is transferring, if you go to the root of wherever you uncompressed Socat from, then you will see this ra.tar, and that file will continue to get bigger as all of these executables are now being transferred to your system. Okay, so it has finished up here, and we can see that that ra.tar file is right around 343 megabytes. Again, that will vary depending upon which game you are dumping. So let's go ahead first off and let's rename it to Sackboy Decrypted EXEs. And then you can go ahead and open this up if you have WinRAR, for example. Here you can see we have a mount folder sandbox, and then we're going to look in the app0, and we can see we have an eboot.bin file, and then another folder here which has a couple of PRXs, and then another folder in here which has a few more SPRXs. So now go ahead and connect your USB drive that contains the dump that you just made on your PS5. Okay, so for Sackboy, it looks just like this right here. And what you're going to do is you're going to simply drag and drop all of these files and just directly overwrite them with whatever is in the destination. So I'm going to select replace the files in the destination. Now, at this point, you're going to want to download this file called makefself.zip. And what we're going to do is we're just going to drag and drop everything from this folder directly into our app0 folder. Now, I'm going to go ahead and run this bat file right here. And I'm just going to run it from the command prompt where we can see what is happening. It looks like at this point it is completed. So we'll press any key to continue. Okay, and so just to finish up, I typically would come in and delete these 3 files right here. So we're going to press the delete button, and now they are gone. Okay, so this is the game. So let's go ahead and connect that to our PlayStation 5 and get this fired up in Itemzflow. Okay, so the goal is to play this without the game disc in the drive. So what we'll do to begin with here is we'll take the existing game that we have installed to the hard disk drive, and we are going to delete it because basically you can't have a digital and a physical title ID occupied at the same time. But that is okay. We will now go ahead and launch Itemzflow, and we are going to go right here to PS5 app and press X. And we're going to go to where it says change app path and press X. Now, what I could do is that I could have used something like PS4 Explorer and copied the game from my USB external hard disk drive over to the /data folder on my internal storage. Now, for this example, we're just going to use the USB drive. So I'm pressing the right button, and then I'm going to select this folder right here by pressing the square button. You'll see it say changing directory. And from right here, I can go ahead and press the launch button, and we can see that the game is loading up. Okay, you get this message here, which is normal. And there we go. We have a game that is running completely off of the hard disk drive. And now I can put this disk somewhere safe. That is really, really cool. Now, if I go back to the main menu here, you'll now see that I have this option which says FG Sackboy A Big Adventure. And notice this time it doesn't have the disk icon. So from here, if I ever wanted to play this game again, I could simply click on that from the main menu. Anyways, not every game disc works, but Anyways, I'm super happy and thrilled that this seems to work with some of the game discs that I currently have. You should try your own as well. Now, obviously, things will just continue to improve as we get a little bit further along in the PlayStation 5 scene. Okay, that's going to do it for this one. Don't forget to drop me a like and leave me a comment below. Michael,